Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the South Park Center and I have Priscila with her movie, Thank You for Calling. Let's take a look at a clip.
Thank you for calling United States Immigration Services. Your estimated waiting time is 102 minutes. Please stay on the line.
Priscila, thank you very much for being here and congratulations on your film and thank you for bringing your film to us.
Thank you for actually inviting me to come here and yeah, I was really happy to come to LA. It was my first time.
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah, I really got to see the city and everything, so it was great.
Well, we really appreciate you being here. Your film was wonderful and had some great elements in it that just go beyond what people think that they have to go through, you know, when trying to fight to live and work in this country, even when, you know, they're married to an American. It was incredible. Tell us a brief synopsis of the story of your film.
Yeah, so the film is about a Salvadoran immigrant who's going through her process of becoming a resident of the United States. And like the first stage of becoming a resident is just you getting a work permit. So the film talks about, you know, her frustration when she is not getting that work permit. So she's calling immigration services to try to find out what's the status on that document, and she only gets like really frustrating answers from them, like answers that don't really answer anything that she, you know, needs to know. So towards, you know, the end of the film, she kind of has to make a decision that could jeopardize her immigration status, which would be like working illegally. Yeah, the film just kind of like makes you, or at least what I intended is that people to put themselves in those shoes.
In those shoes, and see the human behind those people that have to go through those things. I've been through it myself. But in this particular instance, she wants to work, you know, and I think that's just a powerful message that people just want to get on with their lives and their worlds and create a life for themselves. And all she's trying to do for this whole journey, which is why you're so empathetic towards her, she just wants to get on with her life, you know, and she faces so many difficult things through just the legal system that's here and exists right now. It kind of sounds a silly question in this instant, but where did your inspiration come for you in saying, I want to make a film about this?
Well, basically, it was my own experience. I moved from Santa Fe, New Mexico to Atlanta, Georgia, and that's where I started my process to become a legal resident. And yeah, it was something that they told me it was only going to take 3 months, and it ended up being 9 months of just waiting for a document that is temporary. So during that time, I was so frustrated because like what you were saying, I just wanted to get on with my life, you know, and I wanted to go back to work. And, you know, it was hard for me. I've always been independent, you know, and then, you know, I had to depend on my husband. And it was like a hard thing for me to do. Yeah. So I felt like so frustrated when I wasn't getting like any real answers of when my work permit was going to arrive. And the only way that I could like cope with it was writing. So I wrote the short film. Like initially it was different idea. Yeah. But then it just sort of like evolved into this one character, you know, talking to immigration services, you know.
Well, I can't believe you wrote this film about going through the actual frustrations of this film, of what you were going through in the first place. Yeah. That's amazing and well done on you in turning something very frustrating into art. I think also one thing I love that you showcase is that you actually really shared with what somebody is going through. You know, I think many people are kind of uninformed, uneducated, misinformed by what they see in the media of how people and what they actually have to go through. And then, you know, just kind of seeing the human element, the fact behind it, the fact that she's just, you know, not allowed to get on with her life, and then there's not many options for her in the meantime. I think one of the most powerful messages, and I don't want to give too much away, is just, you know, what ends up, she decides to go and get a job. And this is people that, you know, work insanely hard, you know, whilst waiting for a visa, or maybe come here in a different way, and they're not paid as they should. And that, you really felt the hurt of that at the end, you know, particularly when you showcase kind of how much they get paid, because that's unfortunate reality, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was important for me to kind of show this side of immigration that we don't talk about, you know, because we're so focused about illegal immigration and like undocumented immigrants and all this stuff, but we don't talk about how hard it is when you're trying to follow the rules to come here.
That's right.
You know? So people don't know, people only demand more rules and regulations, and they don't realize how hard it is already for immigrants to come here legally. So it was important for me to show that, because I don't think people want to work illegally. I don't think people want to come here undocumented. I just think that sometimes they're just pushed through that, you know, like that's the only option they have. And you know, people need to like understand, because we only judge, you know, people for being here undocumented, but we don't really understand why they're here that way. They couldn't really apply for a visa. They couldn't really apply for a work permit or a residency. They don't have another choice, you know. So I thought it was important to see that side that we're not really seeing, or we're talking about it, you know.
What was the most difficult challenge you faced in making the film?
Well, I think it was finding the crew, because I was new to Atlanta when I started writing this story. So I didn't know anybody there. And I had a couple of people that I met through like some classes that I was taking. And one of those girls recommended me with her husband, who was a DP. And that kind of like started like the process of, you know, crewing the whole team and the short. So it was challenging because I didn't have a crew that I have worked with before. And it was like me trying to convince people to give me a chance, you know, to like show them that, you know, I can do, you know, film. And like, and it's also hard when you're a woman that you have to convince guys to help you. And so I think that was like
which has got to change, people, so, you know.
So I think that was the most challenging part of the short. And then maybe when we were in production, I didn't really have an AD. So I knew it was going to be crazy, you know, so I had to be super organized on the day. And my husband was kind of like helping me with ADing, but he was also like overseeing other sides of the production and like trying to make sure that we had everything for the shot, or like getting, you know, the food for the crew and all this stuff. So it was crazy. So I had to like be super organized, and like I knew exactly how many changes the actor had, you know, like the hair, how I wanted it, you know, and all this stuff. So yeah, that was like the hardest part about.
Well, what was it like having your film premiere for the first time with NewFilmmakers LA and the home of the Oscars? What was that experience like?
It was great. It was awesome. I honestly, I didn't know what to expect, you know. It was my first time here in LA, and I was, you know, surprised to see there were so many activities that were, you know, designed for us to make more contacts, you know, and really support us as filmmakers, you know, because it's so important at this stage of our career, you know, we're so new that we don't know where to go or like who to talk to. So it's great to have a festival that allows you to do that, you know, not just showing your film, but it also allows you to meet people that, you know, you want to reach out to, but you just don't know who they are, you know. So
and you got to meet all these amazing people, and it was so wonderfully deserving for you as well, you know. What is next for you?
So the short has turned into a feature
now.
And we are going through the process of, you know, more drafts and working on the script. But last June we were I think it was June, we were invited to a Sundance Screenwriters Intensive in Georgia.
Excellent.
So that was like really exciting because we learned more things about the characters and the story. So basically the feature will follow like what happens to her when she starts working illegally, and the people that she meets, and how she like navigates in that world. So hopefully that's something that we might be able to do in the near future, like finish, the script and start producing it.
That's amazing. What have you learned from this project, or do you have anything that you'd like to give out there to any filmmakers out there?
Yeah, so what I've learned the most is that we have to like continue creating content.
Yeah.
And like it's so important for us as new filmmakers to write ideas and like just have a bunch of them. Even if you're not like producing them at the moment, it's important to have them so that you can talk to people about other projects that you have in mind, stuff that you want to do in the future. And I think that's something that I've learned through talking to so many executives and people who are working in the industry here, and all the meetings that we had. It seemed like it's so important to have more projects, and just I think that also will give you more experience, like having those projects. It'll make you a better filmmaker anyways. Yeah. So I think that was like the biggest takeaway from just my experience here in LA. And
keep making content, absolutely. Listen, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to LA.
Thank you.
To be us as well, and congratulations on your film. And just keep making. I can't wait for the feature. Bring the feature to us.
Yeah.
Can we be the premiere of the feature, please? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.